What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Locked In Sports Podcast. I'm William Locke, and joining me for this very special podcast, Sunday after opening weekend, is Luis Bronco. Luis, how you feeling after first weekend of ball is pretty much in the books here?
Man, does it feel that nature is healing? There's been a lot of screwed up things happening in our country, but there's one thing that has not been screwed up this weekend, and it is baseball. And I'm quite happy that it's back. It's cold up north. I know we always talk about the weather, but it's a good intro. I know Chicago looks pretty cold. I was watching the White Sox series. How was it up in Chicago, the weather?
Chilly, 50s, cold. Going to be really bad for the Cubs opener this week. I think they open up against the Rockies tomorrow afternoon. It's supposed to be like low 40s and rainy all week. It's supposed to be low 40s and rainy. So I don't know if we're going to be able to get some of these games in. And then I'm going to the Cubs game next Saturday. They're playing the Dodgers, which I'm pissed because Yamamoto is starting on Friday night or Friday afternoon. He's scheduled to start, and I'm going to miss his start because I'm going to be there on Saturday. I really want to see Yamamoto becoming a hot button issue here on the podcast. Want to see him live. Won't be able to.
We'll talk about that later. We don't want to leak it, So that means you're going to get Gavin Stone probably?
Yeah, because he's starting tonight on SNB, right?
Yeah, he's starting tonight. I have him on my squad. And there'll be something we talk about. I mean, here in Miami, it was quite a weekend. Beautiful weather. I mean, probably the nicest weather. Like, I'll go out and say it, probably the nicest weather here since I've been living here since August. It was 75 degrees, no wind, no clouds, and the sun wasn't like, you know how there's like different types of suns?
Oh my God.
But there's like the sun that like you feel it, but it was just like nice. Like it was like, when you come in from cold weather and you put your hands on like the hand warmers, it's nice and like warm. It's not like warm, like, blazing warm. They had the roof open. And they always have the roof closed at Lone Depot for the Pirates series.
Yeah, I did. You did text me about that. And I watched a lot of that Pirates series. And you're right. It was open Saturday and today, right?
Yeah, it was open. It was like I told you, the weather's been beautiful out here. So I mean, hey, ball's back. Time to go get. I mean, you know what I'm craving right now? I'm craving a nice hot dog. Pause. Like, a good old, Wrigley hot dog is like elite because I can go around and like, I can tell you, there's like some hot dogs. Like, granted, an MLB hot dog is different. Like, you are in the major league of hot dogs, but like. Some hot dogs just hit different, like at some stadiums. Like some hot dogs.
Did you see the new like campfire milkshake that the White Sox have?
Bro, I thought it was a Mets. Yeah.
It's like a chocolate milkshake with marshmallows on top and chocolate pieces. It's like a s'more. It looks pretty good. I'm going to get it this year. At guaranteed rate.
All I'll say is this: if like anybody wants to sponsor me, wants to fund like me going around to every MLB ballpark and eating the food there, because I followed like all these accounts on Twitter or X to be proper, like the Yankee Stadium, the 99 burger, and like all that. It just looks so good. Like I could just go get fat, like just looking at these accounts. I mean, some of these places just do some ridiculous stuff, like cotton candy molded on a hot dog. I'm like, bro, that's way too much. Like, that's just asking for diabetes. They're just asking for.
There's one that the Braves have. It's a burger. It's like a cheeseburger with 4 slices of cheese, 4 things of bacon, and instead of buns, the patty or the buns are pepperoni pizza. So it's 2 pepperoni pizzas.
How does that sound even good?
With a burger in between. Yeah, and no, that's what I'm saying. It's like one of those things where it's like, it's just ridiculous. I think they have it for the novelty, not even like for the taste. Just so people will take photos of it and post it on Instagram.
I bet you George Washington's rolling in his grave seeing a hamburger like that in the freaking Italians. Like, can you imagine in 2026 when the World Cup's going on? Like, obviously there's not going to be World Cup games every single day, but there's not going to be World Cup games every single day, but they're going to go to baseball games and just seeing the food there,
Yeah. Sorry, your mic is kind of messed up. Are you on?
I think I'm back. Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, that's better.
Yeah.
That's better.
I'm back. Sorry, I just made some adjustments, but yeah, it's just like, just imagine some European, some Swedish guy coming some Norwegian just come see Martin Odegaard, and they go to City Field, and then boom, they see some abomination of food. Oh God, you know?
Yeah. All right. Yeah. All right. Let's get into the baseball because it was a great opening weekend.
Well,
Where do you want to start? I think we should start probably, in my opinion, with the Yankees.
We
can start elsewhere if you want.
Can I talk about my rant? Can I just rant for a second?
Sure.
Like, this weekend was awesome. Like, I was so happy to watch baseball all across the majors. I was watching teams I would not normally watch, but the umpiring this weekend was a total and utter dog water. It was awful. Like, I could pick out in every single game. I understand pitch framing and everything, but it was so bad this weekend. Like, the most notable one was yesterday. Was the Braves versus Phillies game, where Max Fried throws a 98-mile-an-hour fastball right down the pike, up in the zone, and it's really in the zone, like right dab smack in the middle, and it's called a ball. Then there's other games that, like, today I was like cycling through games, and just like the Yankees game on Friday, the strike zone was awful. Like, balls and strikes were just getting called awful. Like, I think it was Rodon throwing the slider, and there was one that he puts it right outside of the black ball. He puts the same pitch a couple of pitches later, and I understand pitch framing does make to account, but like, it wasn't like Austin Wells was doing a great job back there. Like, he wasn't getting calls, and it was awful. Today in the Cincinnati game, it was just like umps all across the majors were terrible. Like, I don't get it. Like, you have spring training. This is your job. You can't be making blatant, like, missed calls. Like, it was just, like, I know I keep saying awful, but it's like, it was ridiculous. It was not even fair because, like, pitchers were throwing two of the same pitches, and you never knew what was the outcome. Like, I understand, like, if you're going to have a smaller strike zone or a wider strike zone, but let's have some consistency across the board.
Yeah, there were some outside of like balls and strikes. I was watching the A's game like an hour ago. They were in extra innings, and there was a clear safe call at first, and they called the guy out. Obviously, they went to review it, and they overturned the call, but just a bad call on the field. They're rusty too. And I know they have spring training, but the players are still rusty too. The umpires are still rusty. They're still breaking into the season. But yeah, there was some bad umpiring. Calling balls and strikes is really hard, I will say. So I got to give them, like, like people freak out over like inches, and it makes all the difference, of course. But it's not an easy job.
I just want consistency. That's all I'm asking for. I'm not asking you to just keep it between the freaking in the zone.
I mean, if you truly want consistency, then robo umps is the answer.
Yeah, but then robo umps just makes it like you have to throw the ball, like you take the nuance out of it. Like, if you're gonna call a wide strike zone, call the freaking wide strike zone. Call a wide strike zone. Don't be calling, as is for every hitter. Like, be consistent with it. And then we forgot about one of the worst calls of the weekend was on Thursday night. I know we were both watching it.
Yeah.
It was the Texas versus Chicago game, which that could have been awful because that tied up the game. That tied up the game. No, right?
Yeah, that tied it up for the Cubs. No, I think they went ahead.
Yeah, they went ahead.
Who was hitting foul? Like, he fouled it off, but the umpire
called it a pass ball.
He called it a pass ball, and the Cubs scored a run and either took the lead or tied it. Luckily,
Travis Janikowski hit the home run like an inning or two later, and they won the game off.
Okay, so it did give the Cubs. No, it was the top of the ninth. The Cubs tied it, and then in the bottom of the ninth, Janikowski comes up, hits a home run, and then Jonah Heim comes up and hits a walk-off double into the gap, and the Rangers won. And it was kind of like a ball don't lie moment, because it would have been utter garbage, honestly, if the Cubs won that game. So that was a really bad call. I don't know how they got that one wrong. And part of it is on Jonah Heim. Like, he should have probably kept going with the play, even though he thought he stopped playing. He thought it was a foul ball, but the umpire didn't say anything, so he could have kept going. But yeah, that was a tough one for umpiring.
I'm just saying, umpiring this weekend was terrible. I haven't seen it be this bad in a minute. So, I mean, they got to do something about it. Like, and I feel like just like an overview of the weekend, we could just segue into that. Like the overview of this weekend. Obviously, I think it's very common, and I keep forgetting about this. Like, obviously, the hitters are going to have that edge coming off of spring training than pitchers. Pitchers are still very rusty. There's only like 3 or 4 pitchers that were like completely standouts that came up with command control that came in like a mid-season form. So like, yes, I was very angry at like guys like, why can't you control your freaking fastball or, you know, put a slider right where it needs to be? But remember, like, they are so limited in spring training as you only get a start every 5 days. It's not like hitters where you're going and getting repetition every single day, getting reps. And that's just the nature of the beast.
Yeah. And I mean, I'd say there were a handful of pitchers that had good starts. Obviously, Corbin Burns had a great start on Thursday against the Angels. He was the number one guy he had the best start. I thought Bobby Miller looked really good on Friday night against the Cardinals. Jared Jones was actually pretty solid for the Pirates. He's one to watch. Crochet, White Sox, great start on opening day against the Tigers. Shane Bieber had a good start.
But it's the A's.
It's the A's. Frankie Montas had a good start against
I didn't think Montas had that good of a start. Look, when I look at like starts this weekend, I only take like 3 or 4 of them where I think they were like great. And I was just say Corbin, which I wasn't surprised of because we always know Corbin's like that guy in Baltimore. Corbin Burns.
Yeah.
Crochet, I wasn't that surprised. And that's going to be one of my takeaways from that series, which we'll talk about later, about the White Sox versus the Tigers. I mean, it's the Tigers. Like, as high as I am in the Tigers lineup, I think I'm a bit too high on that lineup this season. That, you know, that series was just so tight all weekend between 1 or 2 runs. And just not many runs were getting scored. And then Bobby Miller, that's the one that surprised me. I was very surprised at the Bobby Miller start because seeing what he was doing at the end of the year to now, you can clearly tell that he did change something. He struggled with command a lot last season, but now it looks like, whoa, the swords he was getting on Friday night was nuts.
Yeah, he had like 10 strikeouts, 9 strikeouts. He was great.
He was great. I mean, those are the big ones. And then Shane Bieber had a great start, but for the Guardians, but it was against the A's, and the A's are pretty much fielding at this point a AAA lineup.
Yes, Bobby Miller had 11. Also, Paul Blackburn had a good start today for the A's against the Guardians. Screwball had a good one. The Red Sox starting pitching in general was actually really good this weekend in Seattle.
What do you want to do? Where do you want to start? Because I kind of feel like we can go on and on and on and talk about these starters. We just got to get cracking with the series.
I think we should start with the Yankees because they're the story of the weekend. They're the headliners, and it's a shame that we're 14 minutes into this pod and we're just now starting to talk about them.
Well, I mean, you're a Yankees fan. You want to glaze them at this point? Like, I mean,
yeah.
I'll preface it like this. On Thursday, when the game was going on, it was like 4:00, and Nestor got put up for 4. And, you know, I know you were more in panic mode because you're a fan. And it's like, all right, the game's over. The season's over. End the season. Like, if you read our chats, you were like, end the season. It's going all over again. But then, like, he settled in. I kind of feel like that was just like nerves, opening day nerves. Like, you know, that's just not a opening day starter. He would be an opening day starter for Oakland or Colorado, but not for, you know, the Yankees. And it's kind of like you're getting thrust upon playing the buzzsaw of Houston. That's a top 5 lineup in the majors. And from then on, he settled in. My biggest takeaway from the series is I got 2. I think the bullpen for the Yankees is World Series good, is if healthy.
Yeah.
And what's crazy about it is that, you know, I'm very high on Marinaccio, and he's in the minors. So, like, they have room for injuries to occur. Like, you don't want injuries, but they have room, and people are going to get healthy that they have. And then 2, like Soto and Oswaldo are probably the thing what everybody's going to talk about this weekend. But I still have very strong concerns about their lineup. Because apart from Volpe, who played great this weekend, he got the day off today. Oswaldo, I mean, him and Juan Soto are probably the talks of the weekend. Like, Judge wasn't great, and I think that's concerning.
It's why is that concerning? It's one weekend.
I know, but it's just like, where are you gonna go? Like, the season's about ebbs and flows, and I trust that Judge will eventually get it together, but at the same time, it's like, okay, like, what if Rizzo did not show me anything this weekend of coming back to form, to any semblance. And then who else? The catching position is still, and I said that lineup is built for the catcher to be a defensive guy, and there's not much, to show of offensive, power from the catching position.
Austin Wells had good at bats.
He did, but like I said, I think Volpe. And, I expect Gleiber to get back. I know Gleiber had a tough weekend. He got hit last night, or Friday night in the hand. So
last night, Saturday, in the thumb, yeah.
I thought it was Friday.
No, it was last night, Fox game. Oh, yeah, you're right. It was Friday.
Yeah, because I remember, yeah. So it's just like, I'm already, and I hate to say this, but I'm already thinking about they'll be in the market for bats. That's because I feel like somewhere or another that pitching staff will find a way to stay too. True.
The fact that the Yankees went into Houston and swept 4 games against one of the class of the American League for the past decade, we can say, and they didn't have Aaron Judge play. He was a non-factor. I think that is a win. Anytime you can go into Houston and sweep them, that's a win. And then the fact that you did it with Aaron Judge not even playing well is a double win, in my opinion. Soto is establishing himself as, a franchise favorite already, kind of the guy that we're going to need to re-sign. And then he's bringing like a swagger and a confidence to this team that we have not had in forever. Aaron Judge is more of the calm, cool, collected guy, and Juan Soto is more brash. He's doing the Soto shuffle. He's nodding his head in between pitches. Like, he's so dialed in. When he's locked in, he's unstoppable. So it feels like he's setting a tone for this team right now that hasn't been set in quite some time. Yes, Rizzo wasn't great. Yes, Judge wasn't great, but Volpe, like the bottom half of the lineup, was having really good at bats. Berti came in today, made a great play at third to save the game, diving play. Verdugo made a nice play at the end of the game to save the game as well, the last out. Giancarlo hit a home run. Now DJ LeMahieu is going to be re-examined in 2 weeks with that foot injury, so that's concerning. But the pitching looked great. The bottom half of the lineup stepped up, and I mean, I think it's all you can ask for going into Houston and sweeping 4 games. Like, that's massive. They outclassed Houston in their own ballpark. I know it's one series, it's only 4 games, but it's the best way you can start a season. I don't think there's any negatives from this weekend for the Yankees.
But and like, I think the games are all tight though. We do like till like the bullpen involved. And I think that's something we also have to take in mind, that this is probably the worst Houston's going to look all year, because Houston will get healthy in the rotation with Verlander, McCullers, and all those guys coming in. Because at full strength, Houston's not probably putting out JP France or Hunter Brown. Like, one of those two will get shifted to the pen as a long reliever.
And they didn't have Verlander. He's still hurt. Yeah. That was a nice win to not have to face him, for sure.
So, I mean, we'll like, obviously it's a win. You want to have these wins under your belt. I'm not very concerned about Houston. The only concerning part is like Jose Abreu is looking like a dark hole at first base right now. Like, he really is, but I'm not concerned about, Pena looks decent. Tucker, Jordan, and Altuve will all hit to, the standard at some point. And then Yanier Diaz is looking like he's going to be a threat into that lineup. So, like I said, this is probably the worst that Houston's going to look at. this year.
Yeah, I'm not worried about Houston. I just think it was a great freaking series for the Yankees, and I'm excited to watch this team. Like for the first time in 2 seasons, because last year was just a wash. Like I'm excited to tune into this team every night, and I mean we'll see. They're not going to play this well the rest of the season. Oswaldo Cabrera is not going to be our best player, but they had really good at bats, and it just there's a different energy about this team this year.
Hey, chill with the Oswaldo crap. Oswaldo right now ranks. He is in 3rd for WAR in the Major League Baseball right now.
I know.
So put some respect on his name. I do have receipts. You said that Oswaldo Cabrera will not have will not have a better season than Jorge Polanco.
Because you dropped Jorge Polanco and picked up Oswaldo Cabrera, and I think Oswaldo is not going to have as good of a season as Jorge Polanco is.
Jorge Polanco has been an abomination to start the season.
It's 3 or 4 games for all of these teams. Like that, it is opening weekend. I know we're overreacting, but like it's a marathon, not a sprint.
I'd rather take the chance with Oswaldo and him being the new savior of the Yankees lineup. Now, my next question is, aren't you concerned because you speak full Yankee, correct?
Yeah.
Aren't you concerned about the DJ LeMahieu injury and Garrett Cole already saying June 1st? Like June 1st meaning when? Like knowing the Yankees medical staff.
Well, as long as Cole comes back by July or the All-Star break, I'm fine. DJ, it might be like he might not be. Like a foot injury is nerve-wracking. He might be done for the season.
I don't think
not for the season, but maybe mid-season. I mean, they're not even like he's not even coming back in 2 weeks. They're going to reevaluate him in 2 weeks. And it's concerning to me.
I would be more concerned about DJ than if it was a hand injury or a wrist injury, something that deals with him hitting.
Yeah, but the foot. I mean, Judge had the foot thing last year, and it lingered.
But Judge's foot was Judge was not Judge, but DJ was a ball. He got hit by a ball, right? He hit himself with a ball.
He fouled it off his foot. Yeah. I think that's what happened.
The Judge injury was way more brutal because he literally ran into a fence and like his force literally broke the Dodger fence, and it literally made the Dodgers like redo their fencing.
Yeah, it was a fluke.
But regardless, congratulations, Yankees! You're 3-0. I don't think there's
4-0. 4-0.
That's right. 4 they played Friday. No reason to hit the panic button yet. So,
you talking about for Houston or for the Yankees?
Both teams.
Well, of course, there's no reason to hit the panic button. The Yankees are 4-0. They just swept the Astros.
Yeah, you were hitting the panic button in the first inning.
I mean, Nestor Cortez looked horrible to start the season, and that's what like felt different about this team. Is last year's team would have rolled down and died, and we would have lost that game. And the fact that they came back in all these games, and the bullpen came in and shut them down. It was like before Loaisiga gave up a few runs today, it was like 11 innings pitched for the bullpen and no runs. That is domination. The Astros scored early. They did not score for the rest of the game in those first 3 games. They came back today against Loaisiga, and the Yankees freaking Juan Soto opposite field base hit and scored the run, and that's what won the game. And then Clay Holmes came in. John Beardy made a great play because Holmes was trying to blow it, but he held on, got 3 saves on the weekend. It was a great series for the Yankees. And now they go to Arizona, and they're facing the D-backs, the defending NL champions, in Arizona for a 3-game set Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Fly back to New York, play on Friday, Saturday, Sunday against the Blue Jays. Great start for the Yankees. I'm excited.
Want to go to let's talk about Philly. Let's go to Philly. I think that's the second biggest series of the weekend.
Yeah.
You can take it away. Philly, Atlanta.
Philly needed that win today. They could not have gotten swept in the first series of the year against the Braves. Not that I just feel like it doesn't really matter what happens in Phillies Braves in the regular season because the Phillies dominate that series in the playoffs. Obviously won that series in that NLDS last year. And it just feels like they have the upper hand in October when it matters. But it was good for the Phillies to get on the right foot and get a win on Sunday. But Nola got hit hard. Wheeler had a good start, and then Ranger looked okay today.
Who pitched? Well, they didn't play Thursday because they got rained out.
Yeah, it was a 3-game set. Ozzy Albies 2 home runs in this series. He's starting out hot. He's the same. I'm not worried about that knee anymore. He looks ready to go.
Michael Harris.
Yeah, I mean Fried was fine on Saturday.
Fried got screwed over.
Yeah, there's some bad calls. Like you talked about.
That's the whole like. It goes from a 3-run inning to a no-run inning and getting pulled. Like he got pulled in the first inning. So
Yeah, and hey, if it was Yamamoto, what would you be saying? But since it's Fried, you're not saying it. So
well, I'm saying Fried didn't look good, but like I said, his location looked off, and it's quite concerning. But since I've seen what Fried is, Fried has these starts where he just goes like nobody knows what happens. Like he just like in the playoffs, he's known not to play well.
yeah,
So I'm not surprised with Yamamoto. It was clear, like with Fried, the stuff was just no location. Everything was just. It wasn't even that he was just getting hit hard. He just wasn't locating his stuff. That's what was going on.
yeah. They still won that game. So
They still did. They still did. Like I said, that the offense is a juggernaut. And that's probably going to be something that we're going to have to discuss. Is like, I feel I'm more scared of an Atlanta lineup than a Dodger lineup in the postseason.
ooh, that's such a good question because it's a really fascinating debate because when I see Ohtani, well, it goes Betts, Ohtani, no, Betts, whatever. Those three at the top. It's terrifying to me. And the Braves might have more depth in the lineup, but I mean, you have 3 MVP caliber players.
So does Atlanta to have MVP caliber players.
I'd rather have Betts, Freeman, and Ohtani than like Acuna, Albies, and Olsen.
Well, the thing is who would you? I think you put more stress. I feel like the problem is the Atlanta lineup puts way more stress onto any pitcher because they can run. Atlanta can run way better than LA. LA doesn't really have a lot of team speed.
Yeah, that's true.
Betts is fast, but it's not like Betts is like running 24/7. And then Freeman's a factor running the base path, and then Ohtani, yeah. While in Atlanta, you have to deal with Acuna, Albies, Michael Harris, which is crazy. Michael Harris is hitting 6th in the lineup.
Yeah,
Who had a great second half and already tearing up the start of the year, like that's pretty nuts.
yeah. Acuna, Albies, Riley, Olsen, Azuna, Duvall, Harris, Arcia, and Trump with Kelnick, Darno on the bench. That was today's.
Well,
today's lineup.
Trump, which that's going to be a high selling jersey. Trump 45.
Oh,
That's he got called up because of the Sean Murphy injury. He has an oblique strain, which happened on Friday when he swung the bat and pulled it. But if there's a team that can take a catching injury, it's probably the Braves because they do have the deepest, they have the best 1-2 catcher punch.
That's true, but not good for my fantasy team.
Not good, but I mean, from a Philadelphia standpoint, I mean, they looked good. It's just that bullpen was just atrocious.
I'm worried about it.
And the crazy thing is they called it the MLB.com, which I want to talk about. How crappy were MLB.com's predictions? They had
they were very chalk, but they weren't that much different than ours.
Well, ours were a little. They were having bro, I just can't.
Yeah, they're pretty similar to ours.
I'm not. Look, I'm not concerned with both teams. I'm more concerned about the bullpen with Philadelphia. But I mean, if there's a team that's aggressive in the market, it is Philly to do it.
Yeah, I think the Phillies will be fine. And that's a really tough place to play. Also,
it was cold this weekend too. Up there. You all right?
Yeah, fans were electric.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting to see what they do with that team. But I mean, it's opening weekend. I mean, the starters did look decent. It's just that bullpen just got pummeled. But it's hard. It's just like you get pummeled by the Braves. The Braves are what pitcher doesn't get pummeled by them?
Yeah, so through obviously the first 3 games of the season, they're dead last in bullpen ERA with an 11.57. The Yankees are first with a 0
What's
reliever ERA, by the way. Just saying.
Yeah, what's new? Where do you want to go now? Let's pick next location.
You want to talk about the Reese Hoskins thing? Brewers.
I mean, that's big. I mean, my biggest takeaway about that series, I actually saw a bunch of this series. The Brewers are actually fun to watch. The Brewers
Yeah.
might be a .TV team for me. Like as much as like I hate Milwaukee, and I've hated Milwaukee on this pod a lot because they were
Not the
just
city, the team.
the issue. They're just dead to watch.
Yeah.
Like games are just like that. But like I don't know if they were fun to watch from a viewership standpoint, or that the Mets are just bad.
So I think the Brewers came into New York and kind of killed the Mets in the first weekend of the season. They kind of emasculated them with the whole Reese Hoskins thing and the way it went down.
For context, it was listeners. I don't know if you guys have seen the play. It was on the Friday game again. They were a team that got rained out on Thursday. The Northeast had a little storm cell, rained out all the Northeast games, and they got all pushed to Friday. There was a ground ball hit up to the shortstop or the right third baseman. Can't remember what. And then Reese Hoskins was on first base. He's running to second, goes in for a slide, and momentum kind of takes him off the bag, and he's coming up. He's coming in hot, and it wasn't like he was coming studs up, but like he was coming in hot and almost gets Jeff McNeil's back leg, and he did not appreciate that, and benches did clear.
It was a late slide for sure. I don't know if it was a dirty slide. Like he was definitely trying to alter his throw to first base. I don't know if he was trying to take Jeff McNeil out. And Jeff McNeil was, going on saying he's a dirty player. He's the dirtiest player that I've played with. He said that. And then, the next day, Hoskins goes yard, few ribbies, Brewers win. Brewers sweep the series 3-0. And it just feels like all of any kind of like hope and optimism that the Mets had is gone. And the Mets the Brewers took their soul away in this series. The Mets fans were booing the team already. There's beef with Mark Vientos because they signed JD Martinez, and then Vientos got sent down to AAA, and he's liking posts about the Mets losing games. And I don't know, the vibes are just off. Severino got hit hard. I mean, their opening day starter was Jose Quintana.
And it wasn't like the Mets got beat down. Like it wasn't like the freaking Arizona, Colorado, where Arizona beat them down 17-1. It was like games were like 4-1. Like yesterday was like a 7-6 game, and today was like another 3-1, 4-1 game.
4-1,
like,
yeah.
The bats looked like crap this weekend for the Mets, apart from yesterday's game.
What's new?
And like I said, like you expect Pete Alonso to hit, but he didn't do much unless yesterday's home run. But like, what's up with Francisco Lindor? Like, what's up with the guys that you pay the bills? Like Pete hit a home run yesterday, right? Yeah, he went yard yesterday. That's what I thought. Because the other thing too is they got Pete Alonso at UBS Arena where the Islanders play out there singing with Luke Bryan. Was it Luke Bryan or Luke Combs? Which country guy? They're all named Luke.
Those, yeah.
They're all named Luke. So it's like, and then you got New Jersey. What's his name? Frank the Tank, Zach Bryan, not Luke. Zach. They got Frank the Tank, and everybody's saying it's crazy. I mean, look, there's something going on up there, and I feel like I'm having buyer's remorse putting Carlos Mendoza and the Mets as a over projection on my win column. They did not look good, and the Brewers looked really good, but at the same time, it's the Brewers, and I don't want to sip too much of the Kool-Aid yet.
Yeah, they're not gonna. They could be in the running for the division. They're not going to make any noise in the playoffs. Churio is fun to watch as well. He went 2 for 4 today with an RBI. I like him.
Did you see the meme? There's a meme on Twitter talking about how Trio catches the ball, that every time the ball goes out to Trio, he's always making some acrobatic move. Like it'll be like a routine fly ball, and he'll do like a star jump to catch it. Just like
He did. He was making me a little bit nervous out there. Yeah.
but there's speed. He has speed, and I feel like it's just weird where they have him placed in the order. So like Quintana, he was hitting at the top of the order, and then for the rest of the weekend, he was hitting in the nine hole platoon.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know what to think about that.
They're one to watch. They might be watchable this season. I think that's the takeaway for the Brewers. The Mets might be in for another long season.
You know who also thinks in for a long season?
Wait, let me guess.
Yeah, well, you're gonna get some really easy.
Is it like a truth and the Angels?
Yeah. Like, why are we going to give the Angels airtime? It's like giving.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
I'm not going to give any of them because we'll talk about them later, but it's not like I'm going to like talk about them a lot, like extensively.
Cardinals?
Yeah, I think they're in for a long year.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like this weekend inspired no confidence into what I saw.
Well, they are playing right now, so they could go into LA and get a split in a 4-game set. That'd be good.
But it'd be an ugly split.
I don't care. Who cares? Lance Lynn was okay last night.
Well, granted, there was a freaking rain delay. You know?
I'm just saying.
Oh my God! What? Sorry, I'm watching the game at the same time. Like I can't. I just saw a drop ball, and I'm like, bro. The only thing about the Cardinals I do feel like is I feel Nolan Arenado is not looking good at all. And I know he's always been off the slow starts, but it's like, man, at some point, you can't shake it off. Oh God!
Goldschmidt just gave the Cards the lead, 1-0 in the third. So
you're ahead of me. So I don't know. It's just like I feel like the Cardinals are in a tough spot because their pitching did not inspire any confidence on day one, and their lineup did not inspire any confidence. It's like, what are we seeing? Are we just seeing the same team just patchworked? That's what we're really seeing, to be honest.
Yeah, it doesn't feel that much different. Victor Scott's been getting some run out in the outfield for the Cards, but I don't know. What's the reason to be optimistic if you're a Cardinals fan?
Well, be honest. What's the reason to be optimistic?
I think if you're trying to talk yourself into the Cardinals, it's Goldschmidt, Arenado, figure it out, play to their MVP calibers. Sonny Gray comes back healthy, firing, Cy Young candidate. Then the rookies or the young guys, Jordan Walker, 25, 30 home run season. Victor Scott steals a bunch of bases. Mason Wynn plays really good defense at short, and it's a bad division. And you can win 86 games and maybe sneak out the division.
I don't know, man. I don't get fired any confidence into the Cardinals this year. It's just like a patchwork team. I'm basically feeling I'm seeing like the same team every year, bro. Like the same freaking team.
Yeah,
like,
it doesn't feel that much different this year.
Copy pasta. I feel like I'm seeing copy pasta. Like same thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just like, and then we can talk about Yamamoto, which I mean, let's go.
I mean, he looked good last night.
I have concerns still.
Why?
Because if he's not locating the curveball, and he's like, because he has no command, and I understand if you don't have command, no pitcher is going to look good. But I just look at it like this: if Yamamoto's missing that curveball that he's painting on the black up in the zone, that's going to be belted out to Siberia, guaranteed.
Hey,
it's going to be put to Pluto when it looks great, and I see that he did make an adjustment because in the Korea series he was holding the glove lower. Now he's holding it higher in a more higher position, and it looked better. But like I said, if there's no location, what are you going to do with that curveball? His fastball is very hittable. There's no life to it, and yeah, you can do great velo dips, but crap, man, like. The way he was leaving the curveball up is just very dangerous. You're playing a dangerous game.
So he threw in San Diego 43 pitches in that Korea series start, 11 cutters, 10 curves, 8 splitters, 14 four-seamers. Then last night against the Cardinals, when he had a good start, his final stat line, he went 5 innings, 2 hits, no earned runs, and 5 strikeouts. He switched up a little bit. He cut out the cutter, only 2 cutters, 18 curves, 28 four-seam fastballs, and 20 splitters. So it feels like he might be more of a four-seam split curve guy than incorporating that cutter like he did in that opening series in Korea. The fastball had life. I mean, average 95 miles an hour, maxed out at 96. I believe his ball to strike ratio was pretty similar. He threw, let me see here, 23 balls, 24 strikes, 21 pitches for contact. And he only gave up 2 hits. I thought he looked good last night. He was commanding that off-speed stuff. And yeah, you're not wrong. Like, he's not going to be the guy that's going to go out there and dominate you with the fastball and strike you out 6 times on the fastball. He's going to have to rely on the splitter as his out pitch, curve maybe a little bit too, get guys chasing. But I think the talent is there. Like, he's not garbage. He's going to be good, and he's going to learn as he goes on throughout this season. His next start, like I said, is Friday in Wrigley. Another good opportunity for him. First road start, if you don't count the Korea series. And I don't know. I think he's good. He's going to make adjustments as he goes, and we'll see.
I just feel like, it's he didn't like, he looked okay. I feel like he's going to be one of those pitchers that's going to be a home and away type of guy. Like, at home he'll be crazy good, and then away he's just going to be garbage. Like, I kind of feel like he's going to be one of those. Like, the splits are going to be nuts. But regarding on that series, Mookie Betts looked like the MVP right now.
Can you give him the MVP? I mean, he leads the league in WAR. He already has a 1 WAR.
And
Playing good defense. Good defense.
Do you see the DRS? It's crazy. His DRS is like top 1 in the game right now, like top 2 percentile. Like,
I mean, he's making plays backhanded deep in the hole, in the 6 hole, and then making plays going to his left as well, charging. But at the plate, I mean, 18 at bats, 11 hits for a 6.11 average, 4 home runs. He's hit 3 in this series against St. Louis already. They're playing right now, like we said. 720 OPS, 10 RBIs, 2 doubles. I mean, dude, he's looking like, I mean, again, he's played more games than everybody else. He's played 5 games. Everybody else has played 3 or 4. Them in San Diego have they've played more, 6 games, but he's the MVP of the first 5 games of the season. It's not even close.
Yeah. Let's go rapid fire through some games. Some games that we don't need to talk about quickly. We need some energy. We need some life. Rapid fire. Colorado, Arizona. Did we learn anything about Colorado? No. They're dog crap water. Arizona's on Gurriel's hitting homers.
Arizona looked good. Their new uniforms suck, which I don't know why they had to change them. Their batting helmets are ugly. The Rockies might have the worst start rotation / pitching staff of all time. They're in the running. I'm going to do some more research on the worst pitching rotations of all time this week and get back to you on the next pod, because they're in that running for sure. Chris Bryant is cooked. He's cooked.
Oh, how about Oakland? Let's go Oakland, Cleveland. We did not learn anything about him.
Esterio Ruiz looks okay. Geloff had a really bad play today. Ball went right through his legs. Taylor made double play in a clutch situation in the 9th. Tough play by him, but they got the win in the bottom half. The A's they're bad. And the Guardians, I know it's the A's, so it's hard to take much away, but they did get the bats going in the first 3 games. 12-3 on Saturday night was a nice win for them.
Yeah, I mean, Shane Bieber looks good. I think the big takeaways when you look at Shane Bieber metrics is like they look promising.
Totally.
So next series you want to go fly through Minnesota, Kansas City.
Yeah, I didn't watch much of this one, if we're being honest. Royce Lewis got hurt on opening day, which is tough for them.
They're saying it's a major injury. That he'll be out. Major injury. He'll be out for a while. So what's new? Royce Lewis in a major injury.
That sucks. Twins lost 11-0 today, so the Royals got 1 game in that series. Bailey Ober was rough. Bobby Witt almost hit for the cycle today.
Bobby Witt Jr. MVP for the AL at this point.
He's got the talent to do it,
but he's hitting 500 right now. Like, I feel like he's the best guy off the AL from the weekend.
Other
Except
than once. Juan Soto and Oswaldo Cabrera as well.
So you're giving Oswaldo MVP right now?
No, I'm just saying he had a great weekend.
You know what? Is a defense league open today?
Of course.
Yeah.
It's always open.
Let me open some Oswaldo. Let me get some Oswaldo Cabrera shares. Let's go.
Oh, I mean, he's rising high, so
I'm buying them right now. Buy them before they get even higher.
okay.
Yeah, I feel like there's not much we learned about Kansas City. I mean, I expected more. Let's be honest. Like for all that they spent and all that we were like hyping them up, I did expect them to be a little bit more competitive.
Yeah, it's 3 games early in the season. No, I'm not. Their batting lineup is still not great.
But it's Minnesota, and I don't think Minnesota's that good.
We're both kind of out on Minnesota this year.
We're very out of Minnesota. How about Angels Orioles?
I mean, I think it's the Angels are going to be in the class of the A's, the Rockies, the Nationals of the bottom dwellers. They won today, but they're horrible. Classic Angels on opening day. Trout hit a home run, and then no one else on the team got a hit, and they got spanked. Just typical. Ron Washington already had a team meeting.
Team meeting in the first weekend. That's crazy.
It worked, though. I mean, they won today.
I feel bad because Ron Washington's one of those cool-ass dudes, man. And he's stuck with a team and an organization that's just, like, not great.
Yeah.
So, yeah, give me a did you watch Trout at all this weekend? I mean, freaking Baltimore, The whole lineup looked crazy. I mean, Baltimore made a statement this weekend. That's probably one of the biggest statements other than the Yankees.
I mean, they lost today. They won 2 of 3 against the Angels.
They took care of business, though. I mean, 2 of 3 is not bad. You can't win
4 in Houston's better than 2 of 3 at home against the Angels.
Okay. I'm just saying.
They did not make a statement even close to what the Yankees did this weekend.
Yeah, but let's be honest. It's not like their rotation is like the Yankees' rotation right now. The Orioles are dealing with injuries. I mean, Grayson
with injuries all season. Grayson had a great start. I do want to shout him out.
Grayson and Corbin, they don't have Bradish or anybody. They don't have the other dudes in there. It's pretty much patchwork.
Grayson, his fastball velo is elite. He threw an average of 97 miles an hour, 99, topped out at 84 pitches, 39 fastballs, 23 changeups, 15 curves, 7 cutters. So he's developed a bit of a cutter, and that's one to watch. Like I said, he is going to be huge for them this season. If he's all-star level player, they can win the World Series. If he's not, they can't. 31 strikes, 27 balls, 26 contacts. And his final line, just pull it up because he was really good. 6 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 9 strikeouts, and only 1 walk. And the earned run was a home run. So he was great. There
you go. Let's talk Miami, Pittsburgh.
That was
Pittsburgh. You talk about all I'll say is Jake Berger looks great. It's Berger time.
Berger is locked. He did look good, but the Pirates swept them in 4. 2 extra inning wins. Great bunt today by JJ Bleday. Or sorry, not JJ Bleday. Another Vandy guy, Jason Bleday. What's his name?
Damn,
Jason DeLay. I don't know why I was blanking on his name. The catcher had a great bunt in extra innings to score.
Damn, bro.
O'Neal Cruz.
Coffee? Need some coffee or something like that?
No. And then they won for they're 4-0. They're 4-0. The Marlins, I think they might be in that conversation of bottom dwellers. They stink.
I don't think the Marlins stink.
I think they stink. Jazz hit a grand slam today.
I feel like it was a very competitive series. I feel it was just a matter of inches. The pitching wasn't great on Friday with AJ Puck. I think that experiment needs to die.
Yeah.
On Friday, pretty much didn't make it. Like walked. How many guys did he walk? Like 3 or 4 guys. He was just all over the place on Friday night.
He was Friday, so he had. I can pull it up.
And then they lost 2 extra innings.
6 walks in 2 innings.
They had 2 extra innings game, so he pretty much walked everybody.
Yeah, he pretty much walked everybody.
But like what I mean is like Thursday's game was an extra innings game that went to the 11th, and today's game went to the 10th.
12th on Thursday.
12th. So okay, so yeah, those are two easily. You flip those into wins, and what are we talking about today?
Marlins got 32,000 people on opening day.
Hey, that's crazy. It looked empty this weekend.
Yeah, it was 32,000 on Thursday, 13,000 on Friday, 14,000 on Saturday, and 15,000 on Sunday. So not even half of what they had on opening day.
Hey, I guess
And great series starting tomorrow. Angels going to Miami.
I will not be there.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Hey, maybe this whole skip it thing worked. You know,
For opening day, apparently, but the rest of the weekend, no.
I mean, I think this Marlins team is going to really rely on if you can get Jazz to not strike out ridiculous and what's his name and Tim to do
His name?
Tim Anderson to do good. Like I don't say he's has to be like Tim Anderson, but hit like a 280, 290 average. Rays did not have a great weekend. Kind of feel like they're still asleep, but I'm not way too concerned about them.
They're not making the playoffs.
I mean, but they'll be frisky.
I think the Pirates are frisky, man.
They are, but like I'm saying, you flip those two games into wins, it's a whole different story we're talking about. Like you were like, oh, the Pirates, yeah, but they
I'm going to stick to my take. And I think the Marlins are going to be bottom dwellers this year.
I just think they'll be bottom dwellers.
Dude, they're running out AJ Puck as their number 2 starter. Like that's just not
because of injuries. What are you talking about? It's injuries.
Well, and they're going to have injuries all season.
Yeah,
Sandy's not going to be in the rotation all year.
They're going to be healthy at one point. They're going to get healthier at one point.
Not with Sandy. Sandy's out for the season.
But they already had an abundance of arms in the pen. Like Miami has like a bajillion starters right now.
And they're probably going to trade them if we're being honest.
Yeah, but like I'm saying, they still have a bajillion starters. If there's a team that can take an injury into their rotation, it's Miami because Miami has pretty much an 11, a soccer 11 of starters.
I feel good about my underpick with Miami. I'll just say that. I think
go ahead. We will revisit it when Miami has 1 or 2 good weeks and they get healthy and their pitching actually shows up. Like, just watch. I'm telling you. Right. I'm not concerned after this week. They lost touch game. Pittsburgh's a good ball club. We both see that. And I'm not concerned. They still got to play the Nationals. The Nationals were garbage. I'm talking about frisky teams. We can go ahead and talk about Boston. Boston had a great weekend. For as low as we were, their pitching looked incredible. Cutter Crawford, Pivetta, Garrett Whitlock, and Brian Bello. And they lost. And they won Thursday. No, they won.
Yeah, they split. They split a 4-game set in Seattle. Tyler O'Neill hit 2 home runs. The starting pitching was the story for the Red Sox. I mean, they're second right now in starting pitching ERA with a 1.64. Like you said, Pivetta 6 innings strong. Brian Bello, another great start. Cutter Crawford, great start on Saturday night. And they kind of hampered the Mariners, a team that I was high on. Their lineup struggled this weekend. And
that's a problem.
Yeah, and the Red Sox are on this massive West Coast swing. They go to Oakland and LA this week against the Angels. They don't play a home game until Tuesday, April 9th.
You know what's crazy about that? I could see the Red Sox going this week. They got 6 or 7 this week.
They play 6 games.
I can see the Red Sox winning 5 out of those 6.
Yeah, sure. Dude. I mean,
they look good.
Yeah. It's the Angels and the A's, too. And they lost a game in extra innings on Saturday night. They could be 3-1 right now.
I was more impressed with how they looked. And Seattle, again, I sipped too much of the Kool-Aid. But their hitting just looks garbage again. Like, when are they ever going to get some bats to fix that lineup? Are they ever? Or they're just going to be trotting out the same dudes out there, you know?
Yeah. I mean, again, Jay Rod wasn't great this weekend. He did have a walk-off on Saturday night, though. But I think they'll figure it out.
If they want to get to the World Series, they do have World Series. They have the World Series pitching. They have to, do it somehow.
That Castillo start was
His stuff was all over the place. Like I said, it was good. I felt he had a decent start. I just felt like he just wasn't locating stuff. And that Rafael Devers home run was something like outside a two-seam fastball on the black. That's something, very difficult to do to hit. I feel like you had to have been locked on to
Yeah.
that pitch before. Like you had to have been sitting on that, then boom, doing it.
Yeah. So either way, good start for the Red Sox.
I'm more impressed with the Red Sox.
Totally. Tigers, they sweep Chicago in guaranteed rate, 3-0.
What did I say? What did I say before the season about the Tigers?
They're gonna be good. They're good.
Jack Flaherty had a great start today.
Their pen, I like their pen a lot. I like their pen a lot. Jack Flaherty did have a good start today. Maeda got roughed up on Saturday, but they still were able to pull it out. Their pen right now, second in ERA, in reliever ERA, 0.71. And man, the lineup wasn't great. They only won 1-0 on Thursday and only 3-2 today. But their pitching is good. And it's a bad division. They can absolutely win the Central this year. I like that pick for you so far. Now it is the White Sox, and they're genuinely I forgot to mention them. They're one of the worst teams in the league. They're going to be in that bottom dweller conversation.
I actually think the White Sox aren't actually like there's bottom dweller and then there's dweller. I think
they're bottom.
I don't think they're going to be that like I don't think they're like A's bad. Like after seeing them this weekend, they showed some fight.
Lou Bob, 2 home runs on Saturday.
He's auditioning for July. But it's just complicated. It's just complicated. But like I said, I think Chicago won't be as bad as the Angels, the A's, or the Rockies. Like I think they're bad.
They're bad though.
They're bad. Not bad.
Crochet though, he's promising. I'll be curious to see his second start. Who's his second start against?
Atlanta.
Oh,
I picked them up at fantasy, and I saw that this morning, and I'm like, "Yo, so am I gonna start him and risk it for the biscuit this week, or?"
Yeah, so the Braves are in town this week. Tickets you can get them for $5.
Hey, are you gonna go to the South Side for that this weekend?
Should I go see Strider on Wednesday afternoon? Take a half day at work.
I don't think. Well, if it gets away with the chickens, aka the money, I don't think it's a smart investment.
$5.
How about Tuesday? They play Tuesday night, right?
Tuesday night, Crochet on the mound.
Hey, Tuesday night. Why not?
I don't think I have anything.
Hop on the what's the train on the L? Or
it'd be the red line.
Hop on the red line down to the South Side.
Yeah.
Make sure you wear a bulletproof vest because they do allow guns in that stadium.
Yeah, that's true. You can. I guess you're not safe in that stadium.
You can sneak in a nice little 9mm, nice Glock into the stadium.
Okay, so the White Sox get off to a rough start. Tigers, we like them. I didn't watch any of the Jays and Rays series. I can't say anything about it.
I can't say anything about that series. I'm not. Who do the Jays? Tomorrow? Who do the Jays play this week? Oh, they play Houston. I'll definitely be tapping into that.
That's a good series. I just can't watch games in Tropicana Field.
I just can't watch the Rays. There's nobody on the Rays that I'm actively wanting to see, like pitching wise and hitting wise. It's Randy, but he's so streaky.
Yeah,
Yandy had a great weekend, and their top prospect who's ready got sent down to the minors. So I'm just like, there's no incentive for me to watch them.
Yeah, Reds they take 2 of 3 against the Nationals.
My biggest takeaway, and I'll go on my little Reds rant. I think it's very telling that Frankie Montas is starting opening day and not Hunter Green.
Why?
I just kind of feel like if you're supposed to be ace, which is Hunter Green, you should be starting opening day, not Frankie Montas, a guy who's only there for a 1-year rental.
I'm worried about Green, man. I'm worried about
him. He did not look good at all, and the Nationals lineup is one of the easier lineups to pitch against.
I know, and then he pitched Saturday. They already 100 pitches. Like, did they really need to run him out for 100 pitches? And he only threw – it's 51 sliders, 43 fastballs, and 6 splitters. He's a 2-pitch pitcher. And I just think he's tailor-made for a bullpen role. I really – like, he throws 100. Like, he's a freak show in terms of velocity, but he's not great control-wise, and he only throws, like, 2 pitches. So this guy is, like, definition of bullpen guy.
I don't understand why the Reds haven't developed a 4th pitch for him.
A third pitch. I mean, you only throw the splitter what 6 times, like I said.
Why not a freaking sweeper? They've been known to develop sweepers. Andrew Abbott developed the sweeper, and it was one of his put-out pitches last year. And it'll be
Yeah.
interesting to see what happens with them because Lodolo's coming back event like in the next 2 weeks. He pitched a rehab start today. Like there's a lot of dudes that like the big name pitchers like Walker Buehler's pitches today. Verlander has a bullpen tomorrow, and there's Sonny Gray has a rehab in Memphis on Wednesday, like early half of this week. So it'll be interesting what happens with the Reds because you're gonna have Ashcraft, Abbott, Green, Montas, and I'm missing somebody completely obvious. Oh, and they had Nick Martinez yesterday.
Nick Martinez, yeah.
Today,
I think.
Today. It was this morning. So there's 6 guys. Unless you're running a 6-man rotation, I don't know.
I'm saying he's bullpen guy. He can't throw strikes also. 41 balls, 29 strikes, and then 30 pitches that were hit for contact.
He overthrows, but the thing is when he looks great, like that start in Houston, he's striking out 8-9 guys.
But as a hitter, when you only have to worry fastball slider, it's just so easy to time that up.
That's what I'm saying. They just have to develop another pitch.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel it doesn't help that you have Tyler Stevenson back there, who we both know isn't a great defensive catcher.
Yep.
It would make sense for them to have like some guy like, I don't know, who was that guy with that the Yankees always had? He was 24. Oh, Francisco Cervelli.
Yeah, Cervelli. He was good.
He was good. Like I said, he was good. There's guys like Gary Sanchez was Snell's guy. And you could see the clear differences in ERA. And I think it got to that point last year where it was Luke Maile. It was Green's catcher. The only problem with Luke Maile was that Luke Maile, whenever there's a runner on the base pass, could not gun somebody out at second base. So you were basically given a free base if you were on first. So I mean, big takeaway. CJ Abrams looks really good. Breakout incoming. And I mean, it's gonna be a long season in Washington, but man, CJ will be worth to watch.
Yeah, and also the Reds did get a much needed win today. 2 outs in the 9th, Will Benson home run, and then Encarnacion Strand next pitch walk-off home run. Of course, he was on my bench at fantasy, but great.
Those 2 pitches, because you spoiled it while I was watching, and I was like, all right, Will Benson hit the home run. All right, next home run, next pitch. Oh no, ball, and then boom, homer.
Hey, I watch my baseball on legal platforms.
I do too.
I mean, yeah.
I do too. So relax. I just sometimes my internet connection's on delay, so relax.
Yeah, you got that dial-up internet.
I don't have dial-up. My internet's not as great as yours.
Any other series? I think we hit all of them, honestly.
Chicago, Texas, we talked about earlier. I mean, not much to say. Chicago won today, and they won 1. I mean,
yeah.
Cubs fans are already pissed off on Twitter. Not surprised. You know.
Wyatt Langford hitting second in that lineup, man. He's hitting second in that lineup already.
Christopher Morel looking nice.
Yeah, I've always been a big Morel guy.
I wanted to get him, and then guess what? I realized he's on Moniak's team, so I'm screwed. And then not even a chance I get to take a sniff unless I have another Cubs player to dangle out as a treat for him. And then Padres, Giants. Padres put on 13. Machado had a slow weekend, but the Giants, I feel like those 2 teams are going to be eating each other up the whole season. Padres,
they split that 4-game set. Sorry,
yeah. I mean, San Francisco looks good. Young Ho Lee looked nice. He's becoming a favorite of mine.
Yes,
and
I think it's actually Jung Hoo Lee.
Jung Hoo, not Young Ho. I'm thinking about some other player that's called Young Ho. I forgot what.
The Ho You Fat, that player from the basketball the French basketball league.
Young Ho Koo, the kicker from the
from the Falcons. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it was a good weekend. I feel like those 2 teams will be very interesting to watch as how they progress. I feel like the Padres rotation and bullpen still getting figured out. I think
Yeah, I think those 2 teams are going to be battling for a wild card, though.
They might battle themselves out of a wild card to the point. Being
That
in the
too.
division. So it'll be interesting to see. I mean, it's only one weekend. I mean, a lot of guys look good. I'm looking at Mason Wynn throwing out dudes like he's throwing 100-mile-an-hour across the diamond like it's crazy. I don't know. Did you see the Mason Wynn throwouts from short? with the
Dude, he's got a
Cardinals?
cannon.
But why didn't he play football? He looks like Kyler Murray out there.
One sec.
So guys, while we take this break, I would like to thank you guys for listening to the podcast. If you want to sponsor us, you can go ahead and sponsor us. But hope you guys enjoy the weekend. I know college basketball is on. Hope you guys tune into some baseball. Again, thank you so much for listening to this pod. If you got any suggestions of what we should talk about, let us know. I don't know where William went. I know we're currently live, but I just saw right now James Outman grounded out to second. Dodgers struck out a little bit. And then not struck out, but what should we call it? Shohei Ohtani struck out twice in this game and ended up popping up last night. So we'll see what happens as long as in baseball. 162 upcoming and Williams back. I just filled in the gap.
I can't hear you now. One sec.
Oh, Williams having technical difficulties, everybody. Oh,
Hello?
yeah, we can
There
hear
we
you.
go. There was some commotion outside. I wasn't sure what that was.
All right, yeah. So there's not much else we need to talk about. I mean, we talked about all the series. We'll be back next week. We'll have another week. We'll have a nice set of 10 games to analyze and see. Maybe we do a new segment we can talk about, but definitely we'll be talking about some players that have caught our eye next week. You have any more takeaways this weekend?
I got nothing, man. Fun weekend of ball.
Fun weekend of ball. Hey, we're in and out in an hour and 7 minutes. Keep it locked. Go follow us at Locked In Sports 0 at X/Twitter, Locked In Sports Pod on Instagram, and follow us on YouTube at Locked In Sports Pod. And that was your MLB opening weekend reactions. You got anything else?
That's all I got, man. Fun weekend. Excited for the rest of the season.
Check back next week for a new episode of Locked In Sports MLB.
Peace out.